Well, hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. We've got some interesting news to talk about today on the channel, and it's down in League 2. It's not Stockport County, but we do often cover Stockport County on the channel. We do also have the match vlog from the game against Barrow away from home yesterday on Boxing Day. If you haven't seen it, you do go and check it out. But today, the news that we're going to be talking about is regarding Salford City and their manager Neil Wood, who has been sacked by Gary Neville and the likes of the class of 92 by Salford City today, a day after Boxing Day. Like I say, it's not great timing for Salford to be in the situation they're in. They're not in a great position in the league table. Of course, an embarrassing defeat as well yesterday. I think they lost 5-1 to Tranmere Rovers. So it's just not been a great season for Salford City. Of course, Stockport County beat them in the playoff semi-final last season, went to Wembley. Of course, didn't get the result that we wanted, but we did beat Salford in the build-up to that. And it's not been the season that I think Salford were hoping for. You know, you'd think playoffs, let's build on that. You know, very much like Stockport County have taken the attitude of. And Salford City, I think they're lingering around 21st, 20th in the league at the moment. Obviously, a string of bad defeats. And it just hasn't been the season, like I say, that I think Salford fans would have been expecting. But I think even, League 2 fans would have expected from Salford. I think it's been a bit of a surprise that they haven't sort of reached the levels, that they haven't looked more competitive. And I think a little bit is probably to do with, I don't know, because I could be wrong, and maybe Salford fans can sort of enlighten me a little bit more on this. But it looks like the purse strings have kind of not been quite as loosened as maybe they have been in the past. The money that has been invested in the playing squad doesn't seem to be the same this season as they seem to have spent in the past. I could be wrong on that, but it doesn't feel like they're fully invested in Salford this season as much as they have been maybe in years gone by. And of course, they did have quite a few promotions, in the early days of the takeover, and they've somewhat stumbled in League 2 over the last few seasons. Haven't really got close to getting out of the league, until, of course, the playoffs last season. And I just look at it and go, maybe they are sort of holding back their investment a little bit, and maybe that was a frustration for Neil Wood, and maybe he felt like he didn't quite have the team that he needed together to push in League 2. I think he kind of said that maybe Salford overachieved last season getting playoffs. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think he might have said that at some point. I just want to get Salford fans' perspective on this potentially, about whether or not you think that Salford overachieved last season. Maybe this is the level they're at. Is this season a massive underachievement, or was last season a massive overachievement, or is it just a case that last season was a massive overachievement, but this is too far down to go down the table for what they've spent, on the players over the last few seasons. They do have a player in Matt Smith who can score goals. He is one of the leading goal scorers this season as well. But of course, he's not getting any younger. I think he's 34, 35. So he's a key asset for them. He can score goals. He can find the back of net. If they get a good manager in, then potentially they can get firing again. But from a Stockport County angle, this has quite a big influence and quite a big say in what happens with Stockport County's January transfer business. Because, of course, Odin Bailey, who is a player on loan from Salford to Stockport County, has been phenomenal for Stockport County over the last few months, really been taken in by the fans. And, of course, his loan does end in January. He should be able to play against Bradford on Friday, and he should be able to play against Mansfield on New Year's Day, I think. But then after that loan will be cut short. And I'm sure there's conversations going on behind the scenes as to what happens with Odin Bailey, whether or not he sort of extends his loan to Stockport County to the end of the season, whether or not he moves to Stockport County on a permanent deal, or whether or not he simply goes back to Salford City in January and continues to play for them for the rest of the season. My understanding is that he may have played for both teams already this season, so therefore he can only play for one of these two teams, beyond January. So the situation was, I've read that he had a falling out with manager Neil Wood. And if that had been the case, then of course, if Neil Wood was still in post at Salford, that would have made the move to Stockport a lot easier for Odin Bailey. This is sort of put a bit of a spanner in the works for Stockport County, I think, because any move that any move we've tried to make for Odin Bailey, now Salford can say that there may be a new manager in situ by the time he returns to Salford, and potentially could give it another go at Salford. I really hope that's not the case, but of course they'll look at the performances that he's given to Stockport County this season and go, well, there's a player there that if we can get a good manager in, get him on side, he could help us along with players like Matt Smith. So that's a bit of a worry from a Stockport County point of view, because he has been a key player for us over the last few weeks, the last few months. He really come into his own after a difficult start, I'd say. He didn't really seem to get into the team until maybe mid-September, so it's been obviously a bit of a strange season really for Stockport County as well, because we had that brilliant run, and of course it came to an end and we've sort of managed to claw our form back a little bit over the last few weeks. Obviously, a key win against Notts County. Obviously, that massive win, 8-0 against Sutton United, and of course, an important draw away from home against Barrow yesterday. And I thought Odin Bailey was very good yesterday as well. Another impressive performance. It may well be his last few games though in a Stockport County shirt over the next few games, of course. With Bradford coming up on Friday and say Mansfield at home on New Year's Day. But going back to Salford, I mean, Neil Wood, do you think it's the right decision for Neil Wood to move on? Who do you think may come in to replace him? I know they've brought in a lot of managers over the last few seasons. Do you think there's a manager out there that can potentially get Salford City back firing up the league again? Do you think he should have been given more time? Do you think that maybe it's something behind the scenes and potentially the investment and the playing squad, the quality of the squad isn't good enough? Maybe other teams have improved on last season more than Salford, and maybe they were always going to struggle. I'm not too sure what the issue is at Salford, but I don't think they've been particularly great this season. Even when we played them, I don't think they were that brilliant. They probably had the better chances in maybe the first 5-10 minutes against us at Edgley Park, but I think at Stockport County were probably the better team after that. So, I just want to get people's thoughts on this. Do you think it's a good move for Salford City? Is it the right move for Salford City to move on Neil Wood? And I suppose, will it play, of course it'll play a factor in the move of Odin Bailey to County on a permanent or not. But how much, just how big of an impact do you think that will have on the move? Stockport County fans, do you think you're confident that we can still get Odin Bailey to Stockport County on a permanent or a loan to the end of the season with this development? I suppose it's occurred today. But as I say, massive news for Salford City to make this change just after Christmas. And as I say, more importantly, the biggest question is it the right move, and who can they bring in to turn the club's fortunes around? So I want to get people's thoughts in the comments on this. Who should Salford look to bring in next? Will it have an impact? How much of an impact will it have on Odin Bailey's potential move to Stockport County or potentially somewhere else? And is there a chance that he maybe gets into the Salford team in the second half of the League 2 season? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.